Bonjour des gens de YouTube et bienvenue à mon nouveau video about just language learning in general, my language learning adventure and how it's going. I don't know if that was correct, des gens de YouTube, because I start my videos with hello people of YouTube, so I was like bonjour, hello, that's we got there, but then people of YouTube, des gens de YouTube, perhaps, I am not entirely sure. You'll let me know in the comments below. I'm sure you will. Good. So what have I been doing? It is first of all, it is Wednesday. Wednesday, the 22nd of August, and I have been doing today tidying the house while listening to a thing called Language Transfer and Language Transfer Introduction to French. I got Language Transfer recommended to me in my last language learning diary, so it's like I need some more listening input, so I might as well check it out. And I'm enjoying it. But it's a bit funny as well, because I have a feeling that both definitely the students, but also the teacher in it, is not a native French speaker, because he rolls his R. Also because of his English accent, it sounds more Italian, question mark, than French. But yeah, he rolls his R in French, and I've never really heard that before from a native French speaker. There might be dialects that I don't know about in French that roll their R's. Yeah, but it's kind of fun to listen to. So, Language Transfer is a podcast where you have a teacher who is talking with a student who is there and teaching the student French while just asking them questions. Can you say this sentence? And then repeating things over and over, and every few minutes adding a word. And then the purpose of the podcast is that you answer the questions of the teacher as well, and then you hear the student answer, and then you hear the teacher sort of come back with feedback, if you will. So that's what I've been doing during my little tidying session in the living room in the past hour-ish. So I am currently at episode 6 of Language Transfer. There are 40 of the introduction course to French in total, and I'm definitely going to keep listening to them because I am enjoying it quite a bit. Also, a thing that I might want to do on video at some point is this. This is a Norwegian, there we go, a Norwegian French course that I got from Signe's dad when he moved recently, and he found this in his attic, I think. So maybe at some point in the future we're gonna have a video about a fransk språkkurs, litt olla norsk til fransk. Kom I gang med et nytt språk. Very exciting indeed. I just love how old sort of the cover looks. I like the black and white photo and stuff. But in there is I think 5 CDs or something. No, there's 3 CDs. There we go. That we can have a listen to together at some point in the future. I think that's quite fun. Good. So for the rest of the day, I have work to do. So I think that's it for my French of Wednesday, the 22nd, was it? Yeah, Wednesday, the 22nd of August. And I will see you again, hopefully, tomorrow. It is Tuesday, the 9th of September. And holy shit, I haven't done this in a while. I've been very nice and busy with my Dutch lessons on this channel, which I am quite enjoying, and I really like the feedback I'm getting on that. But of course, my own language learning needs some, progress as well, which I haven't really been making a lot, sadly, in the past couple of weeks. I am not exactly sure why, just haven't really been getting to it. Either way, in the past few days I've been getting slightly back into it, and I've done something slightly different than what I'd normally do, because I want to practice more, as in I want to actively reproduce the things I've learned more than I've done in the past. In the past I've been more like reading, listening to stuff, that sort of thing, but I've not been trying to actually make new things with the knowledge I have acquired. So I have this, which you've seen before possibly. This is my bullet journal, technically, that I also don't do a lot with, but in this I write down French vocab stuff. You can't really see it, it's really bloody right. I do apologize. Trust me, there's French words there. So what I've been doing is I've gone down these words one by one, and in a new little book, written down, sentences which also are impossible to sort of decipher. There you go. There you go. You can sort of see that there are sentences there. So I've been going by my acquired words that are in my bullet journal, and I've made sentences out of them, or around them, I guess. So each of these sentences have like one word from my vocab list, and the rest has been improvised, sort of to train my mind into actually using the language more. Now this is of course French, because I'm obsessed with French, so I'm only doing French right now, but I want to apply this to other languages I do in the future as well. But I want to, just to give myself some pronunciation practice, read out what I've been writing as well, because obviously it's going to be grammatically dramatic, and I've probably used words in wrong places, but I just want to read out the little introduction that I've that's quite visible. Just want to read out the little introduction that I've written, just so that you sort of have an idea of where I am in my French right now. La langue française. C'est un petit livre pour écrire au sujet de mon progrès de apprendre la langue française. Oui. À présent, je peux parler un petit peu de cette langue, mais je veux pouvoir parler avec des gens français. Le plus gros problème est je ne connais pas plus de mots. Je dois étudier tous les jours. So, of course I've subtitled that down there. Do let me know what mistakes are in there, because I am aware that that is very flawed. Also, the last word, just to sign it off, is allons-y. So, like, let's go. I kind of enjoy that though. I like speaking the language, even though I don't do much of it. I've just done this yesterday, these two little pages, so let's talk through those as well. The first word I've ever written down in my bullet journal was la fille, so the girl. And what I've then done is add a few words to make a sentence with la fille. So, la fille est 12 ans. Ce garçon mange des fraises vertes. Lui n'est pas l'homme. He is not the man. I don't know where I'm getting this, but the word there was lui. So I was like, he is the man? No, that's a bit too simple. I'm going for he is not the man. Originality. Lui n'est pas l'homme. Je veux être riche. Guess what the word there was? Tu es chaud, which I very much am aware does not mean are you warm. Good. Next one is je mange tous des croissants. Il est froid. It's cold. Elle est ma petite amie. She's my girlfriend. Le chat rouge est pas gentil. Elle a mon meilleur manteau. Nous sommes ici aussi. Ils sont dans ma maison. J'écris une lettre au sujet de mon livre préféré. So those are a couple of the sentences that I've just randomly thought of. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just actually trying to recreate stuff with the words I've acquired. Making actual sentences out of them and, pronouncing them as well. Additionally, this talky bit is going to be a little bit long, but we'll deal, I suppose. What I found very useful as well is language transfer, which I think I talked about in the past section as well. So I'm not going to go into too much depth about that, but it's been very useful to listen to a teacher explain something to a student and then pretending you're his student, I suppose, because that way it feels like you're doing some proper interacting in the language. And when the teacher in the language transfer podcast, corrects something, that correction also goes for you as the sort of semi-passive listener, and not just for the student in the podcast. So if anyone is still looking for new, French resources, then maybe language transfer, which is on SoundCloud, is particularly useful. Right, I think I've blabbed for long enough. Let's see what I'm gonna do about French in the next few days. It is 7:16 on Thursday, the 13th of September 2018, and I am losing the light, which is a thing I haven't been able to say or wanted to say since, I guess, February, April or something. As we all know, I live quite far north in Norway, and throughout summer we don't lose the light at all, which I am quite a fan of. But now it is, about 7:15, and it's golden hour-ish, and in about an hour more it'll be pitch black outside, which that transition is going ridiculously quickly. Either way, not quite what I wanted to talk about. I also don't quite want to talk about my French progress. I have something else that I want to have a chat about, but just as a quick update for the progress, I did a bit of Duolingo, which I have not been spending a lot of time with lately because other resources, but I just did some good old possessives too, which, was decent. I learned some new words like mien, tien, sien, mine, yours, tien was yours, and sien was his or hers. Right. Good job. So I actually picked some stuff up there. What I actually want to kind of talk about today is that sometimes when I'm studying I have these, I won't call them epiphanies because that is highly overstating it, but sometimes I have these weird random realizations while I'm picking apart words. And a couple of days ago I had this epiphany, minor epiphany, about the words that mean maybe in all sorts of languages, because the word maybe in all of the languages that I personally know are very easily dissectable in two parts that make up a combined meaning that ends up meaning maybe. English, first of all, can be split up in may and be, so something that literally may happen at some point, something that literally may be. Which is kind of interesting. But yeah, the other languages that I do know, like French, peut-être, can be, can be. French, I still need to think about that when I dissect things. But for example, the Norwegian, kanskje, kan, skje, if you split it up, literally means can happen, which is kind of interesting. If you just say the word kanskje in a Norwegian conversation, I don't really think about the fact that it literally dissects into can happen, but there you go. And then I have two slight outliers, which I had to actually research, and I did because I found this interesting as soon as I discovered this. And those are the hardcore Germanic ones, the Dutch and German words, which are misschien, and the German one, vielleicht. We in Dutch also have an alternative to vielleicht, which is wellicht. You can hear the similarity there. But misschien, I googled this, dissects into a very old-fashioned Dutch, mag schieën, which means may occur, I suppose, sort of. So yeah, mag schieën, which has now formed misschien. Interesting. And then vielleicht, the German one, is also from slightly older German and comes from vielleicht, which means very easily, which I found quite interesting because it is the one maybe in this whole lineup that doesn't literally mean maybe, it means very easily if you dissect it properly, which is quite interesting. So instead of something that may be, I think it refers to something that very easily might occur. So instead of the it may occur, it refers to the ease of the situation, I suppose. It's, I don't know, thought processes. I find this stuff very interesting. Again, they're not epiphanies at all, but I just like dissecting the words that I learn, and then sometimes that spirals out of control, like in this instance, and I don't know, the dissecting thing is an important part to the language learning process, so good thing to share, I suppose. I quite like it. Good. That was a little bit of a tangent today. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. It is Saturday the 15th of September, and I just scripted out the second one of my three-parter about Dutch personal pronouns. There we go. Grammar words, both in English and in Dutch, are still difficult for me, so it sometimes takes me a while to actually think of the words like personal pronoun. There you go. But the second one is about, here we go again, not subject but object pronouns. There we go. See, grammar words, difficult. I have no idea why, but rules and conventions apparently are not really my thing. Good, but yeah, I just wanted to show you the script and how I outline these videos, because I don't know, might be kind of interesting. So what I do for this type of Dutch sort of lesson, tutorial, whatever you want to call it, is I have a website as my source, which in this video's instance was Genootschap Onze Taal, which translated could be something like Community for Our Language, or something along those lines. And they have long articles and tables and graphs, and usually not graphs, it's language, but tables about, you know, certain grammatical features of the Dutch language, that sort of thing. And I use that as the core of my videos content. And what I then do is I start thinking of example sentences that involve these structures or rules or whatever it is I might be talking about. So then I have a bunch of example sentences, I have their English translations, because that is very important as well, and then I need to kind of structure it. So first I usually have a bit of an introduction, just very briefly written out, then the examples and kind of an exit, and then in between there, if something weird like an exception to a rule comes up, I have a very short sort of point-by-point explanation written out. But my actual phrasing during the video, I sort of improvise. I never really write out a full script. I only have the story beats written out, if you will. So yeah, that is kind of the process of planning one of these Dutch videos. Another important part of that planning is getting some food in my stomach, which is what I'm going to do now. Fixing my hair because it's an absolute fluffy mess, and changing out of my university jumper because that's not very representative for a Dutch language video, I don't think. So we're gonna do all of that. I'm also gonna Skype with my sister, which is always lovely, and then I'm gonna record the second video of personal pronouns. There you go. I've already filmed an ending for this video, but I just want to insert this before that ending, so the ending will, you know, come up soon. It is Sunday the 15th of September. Jesus, my timing and stuff is terrible. Yes, 16th of September. Good job, me. And I had a very interesting experience with the Danish language just now. Danish, of all languages available. So yesterday I was looking for a song by Astrid S, which is a Norwegian artist, and the song is called, I'm gonna read it out, Vi er perfect, men verden er ikke det. So I played that on Spotify, and then after the song was over, I thought it would just stop playing. But it just kept playing songs with the word verden in it, because that was the word that I looked for. But then it just kept playing other songs with verden in it. And I was like, I'm just gonna listen to some more Norwegian songs. So the next song that played was Verden går til helvete, tra-la-la-la-la. And the tra-la-la is part of the song title, which is brilliant. Title means the world is going to hell. Very good song. Or very good, I don't know, but very catchy, definitely. And after that, there was a song that is called Verden kan vente, or as I have now found out in Danish, Verden kan vende with a D. I was listening to it, and I noticed while I was listening to it that the accent reminded me vaguely of Danish, like instead of vente saying vende with a sort of more D-like sound. But I could understand it properly, and I have never had that experience with Danish, so I just disregarded it as a Norwegian dialect. Now, today I did the same thing, but I knew which songs were gonna come up, so I was like, I'm just gonna listen to all of them again. And then I spotted the name of the guy who sings Verden kan vente. And his name was Rasmus Seebach. Seebach is a very German last name. Rasmus is an extremely Danish first name. So I was like, hang on a second. If he's Danish, how could I understand him? So I Googled him, and it turns out that he actually is Danish, and his songs are in Danish as well. And I got very confused, so I looked up an interview with him just to double check my hearing capabilities. When he speaks, he's incomprehensible, as is all Danish to me. Danish, I just cannot make sense of it when it's spoken, but apparently, when people sing in Danish, they take their potatoes out of their throats and pronounce things like they are pronounced almost in Norwegian. So, yes, interesting experience, definitely. And I just wanted to share it with you because it's just felt very weird. So Danish, once again, when it's sung, is perfectly comprehensible. When it's spoken, it is incomprehensible garble speech, basically. Good stuff. Language is fun. Right, I'll get to the actual ending bit that I recorded before this. Sunday 16, and while I still have the camera set up from recording my video about object pronouns in Dutch, I felt like ending this diary-ish video here. So yes, I have in fact just recorded the second part in my personal pronouns series, which I think is good fun, and that video will possibly go up sometime during the week, although my mom is coming to visit me here in Norway, which is quite good, but that means I won't have a lot of time for video editing and that sort of thing. Or rather, I don't want to spend a lot of time on video editing because my mom is here, so we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff together instead. So maybe next week on Sunday, like what has become sort of the norm on this channel, Sundays for uploads. That wasn't planned. I don't really do planning for YouTube, but apparently Sundays are a thing. Good, so for now, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to randomly push some of the positive buttons down below if you liked it, and I will see you next time. Ciao!